Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am here with my November wrap up. So I read 4 books this month, which I think is pretty good considering how busy we got, especially towards the end with Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And I did read a couple books that were a little bit longer than I expected, so I'm pretty good with how much I read. So 4 books, let me tell you about them. All right, so actually all 4 of these books that I read ended up fulfilling prompts for my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge that I'm doing this year, and I have a link in the description if you want to check that out. And that's something I wanted to really concentrate on because am it's almost the end of the year. So I wanted to make sure I got all 50 of those books read, and I'm on my way to do that for sure. So these 4 books did fulfill prompts for them. The first one that I started out with was The Color Purple. This is written by Alice Walker. This was a prompt to read a Pulitzer Prize winning book. And I ended up listening to the audiobook of this, which personally for me, I think that was the best decision. I don't know if I had read it physically without listening to it that I would have gotten through it as quickly as I did. And it's actually read by Alice Walker, so that was really nice. I like it when the authors read the books because they can really portray what they were writing because they're the ones who wrote it. But it was very good. I gave it 4 stars. I was surprised by some of the language in it. It kind of took me back for a second. I went into this book thinking it was about slavery. It is not. I was completely wrong about that. It does center around African Americans in the I don't know what year frame it is. I want to say maybe the 40s or so. But just kind of struggles that they were having, and a couple of them were trying to escape just bad people in their lives. But it wasn't like, it wasn't slavery or anything like that. But it was very good. I want to watch the movie now. I've never seen the movie either. So yeah, 4 stars for me. All right, so the second book that I picked up, I don't even know how to describe this book, you guys. Okay, I read American Psycho. This is by Bret Easton Ellis. This book fulfilled the prompt to read a banned book. I started reading this on my Kindle, but there were a couple times where I kind of, like, the paragraph stopped in mid-sentence or the chapter stopped in mid-sentence, and I was like, what's happening? Is my copy messed up? So I decided to go to the library and grab it, but no, that's how it's written. So I was like, oh well, I'll just hang on to this one then and read the physical copy. This book was a 5-star read for me. This book was disgusting and amazing and disturbing and shocking and completely blew my mind. I went into this knowing it was probably going to be like controversial and, maybe graphic. Holy crap, I did not expect what was in here. This is the most graphic book that I've ever read. And I've read some stuff. I've read J.A. Conrad. I've read the Dexter books. I've read some graphic stuff. This, is beyond that. I quite a few times had to put this down, in the middle of a sentence, because I had to just, either process what I had just read or try to unprocess what I had just read. I don't know. It's really hard for me to articulate this book because it shocked me, and it really honestly takes a lot to shock me. And this just completely, I was just like, holy crap, it's appropriately named. This guy's a freaking psycho. Yeah, so I gave it 5 stars though, because, I don't know. If graphic stuff doesn't bother you and you haven't read this, I highly, highly recommend it, but be prepared. There's stuff in here that you're not gonna be able to get out of your brain. So, but yeah, 5 stars. One of the best books I've read this year for sure. Okay, so after American Psycho, I picked up Ready Player One. This is written by Ernest Cline. This fulfilled the prompt for me to read a book with a number in the title. 1 is in the title. I listened to the audiobook of this. I actually read along with it a little bit as well. If I was sitting at home not really doing anything else and I wanted to listen to it, I sat with the book open. And I also did listen to it when I was out doing stuff and running errands and grocery shopping and stuff like that. This audiobook is phenomenal. It was so good. It's read by Will Wheaton, who's cray cray adorbs. And it's really funny because there's actually a line in here where he mentions Will Wheaton. So he's like saying his name and mentioning himself while he's reading it. So that was really cool. This book was awesome. I loved it. Super action packed. It basically follows a young boy in I guess it's kind of a dystopian. I don't know if it's classified as dystopian or not, but basically the world has kind of gone to crap, and but there's also different planets and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, it's really interesting. It's like a far in the future type thing, but this billionaire ends up leaving an Easter egg inside a virtual reality that he created. And everyone basically on the planet is involved with this virtual reality. It's like the most popular, it would be like being on the internet, like everyone does it. And he leaves an Easter egg in his will and says, whoever finds this Easter egg is going to get my inheritance, which is like millions and millions of dollars. And most of the world is in poverty. So everyone in this virtual reality is trying to find that Easter egg so that they can get that inheritance. So this is about a young boy who is really good at this virtual reality thing and trying to find this Easter egg so that he can be okay. And so good. And I really highly, the book is good, but I really highly recommend listening to the audiobook along with it because it's really good. 5 stars. Okay, so the fourth book that I read this month is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This is a library book as well. I was going to save this one for December, but then I saw it at the library when I went to pick up American Psycho, so I just grabbed it while it was there because I don't have a copy of this yet. So this one fulfills a prompt to read a popular author's first book. So this was her first novel that she wrote, and she's pretty popular, basically because of Gone Girl and Dark Places as well, but this is her first one. This was okay for me. I gave it 3 stars. It was, I don't know. It was pretty slow to start off with. A lot of the characters, almost all the characters, are very disturbed and just had tons of problems. And there is a trigger warning for this one for cutting. So if that's something that you're sensitive to, I would skip this one. It's called Sharp Objects because the main character is a cutter. But she is a protagonist. Oh, wow, Sarah. Ugh, I need some coffee. She is a reporter. And she lives in Chicago, but she's from a very small town in Missouri. And one year in her town, 2 little girls are taken and killed. So her newspaper sends her back to her hometown to find out what's happening and to basically write a newspaper article about it. However, her hometown and her home life and her family life is very toxic. So she's going back to all this stuff and it's triggering a lot of things for her. She's running into old people that were very bad in her life, so she's dealing with that. So like I said, it took me a while to get into this. Once I did it, I did kind of read it a little bit quickly, but a couple of things that really bothered me was that she just made some really stupid decisions. Like, I don't know. She's in her late 20s, but she does drugs with her sister, who's 13. And then she has sex with an 18-year-old who is a suspect in the case that she's reporting on. So I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? That bothered me. I didn't feel like that kind of stuff was necessary. I don't know. It didn't rub me the right way. I didn't like it all that much. But I mean, overall, the story is a solid story for sure. It was, like I said, a 3 stars. It was just okay for me. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. The storyline was good. I'm glad I read it, but just not my favorite one from her. All right, that's it for me, you guys. That's what I read in November. I will be back very soon, probably tomorrow, with my December TBR. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I will see you again real soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye.